Hi everyone, happy Thursday. So jokes did not disappoint today. Now I have a little twist, but it's gonna be at the end. So, alright. Well, there are a couple twists actually. Alright, so you're supposed to believe that Ian is unalived. However, uh the twist. Okay. Now Ian came into the house thinking that he was going to unalive at least Victor and have his whole family watch. And I guess primarily have Nikki watch, which is disturbing in the least. Um, but of course that didn't happen, so I talked about most of it yesterday. Okay. But then today, we're supposed to believe that Ian is unalived because he was shot in the stomach and apparently had internal bleeding, which caused the perceived unaliving. Um, okay. Also, combined with this, Tessa and the baby were missing since yesterday, but it was supposed to be overnight. So, you know, and Mariah is convinced that Ian took them away to punish her again because he had said that his whole motivation was to get her back in the fold or something. And so I went along with this logic, although I also said that they had a fight or a disagreement where Tessa wanted Mariah to give him another shot because he gave her a speech about how he's a changed man. So she was trying to convince Mariah to give him another chance. Mariah said, "Come on, you're nuts. I've known him longer than you have, and it's part of his MO, and so don't fall for it." And they argue back and forth, and Tessa leaves. Now, I thought to clear her head, which Mariah left to clear her head too, I guess. And uh, she happened to find Sharon, which I've talked about that before. Um, but then when Tessa left, Tessa had the baby, and now the story is, which it's possible, but it's still a little far fetched. Um, Apparently, when the baby can't sleep, they take her in the car to lull her to sleep. Well, then Tessa is not a good mother because she let the car run out of juice. I'm guessing it's an EV car, and also her cell phone was dead. So let's look at the facts here. You have a baby, a toddler, and you have no electricity for your car and no cell phone. So if you get lost or something, you can't contact anybody. Yeah, you're kind of batting 1,000 here. Mm. Okay, so then to go along with the far-fetched story, um, you're supposed to believe that somehow Abby saw her on the road, her car, so offered her a ride home. And somehow, coincidentally, Abby's phone was not working either, so Tessa couldn't alert Mariah that at least she was okay. You're supposed to believe all this for that story, okay? Meanwhile, we have everything going on with Ian and everyone else involved, which is really funny, which I should have mentioned also yesterday, but I kind of assumed it was a foregone conclusion that you understand that all of the Newmans were in the house along with Michael Baldwin, and so and then also part of Victor's security team. So there were a lot of eyewitnesses to the whole thing. Okay, now this is important because of today. Today, everything supposedly went down. So then, Chance, the cop from the GCPD, which does nothing, um, happens to be there and tries to be a investigator or something and go, so I need to ask some questions. What exactly happened here? And so Michael Baldwin is telling the story about what happened. And he says, well, and then Chance says, well, am I supposed to believe what you say just because you say it? And Michael Baldwin says, I know it sounds far fetched, but it's true. It really happened that way. And then Chance says, which is what I was thinking too at the same time, which is it's very convenient how it always just happens the right way the Newmans need it to happen. And then Adam pipes up and says, well, we're lucky that way. And so, and then, of course, somebody, the voice of reason, says, "Do you think that Chance is going to believe it and not, want to investigate any further?" And Michael says, "Well, he has no reason to until now. This is the very last minute. Um, they're in the ambulance taking Ian, who they suppose is unalive, to the hospital, and guess who wakes up? Ian. So everybody has this whole notion that he's gone, he's not going to be a problem anymore, and then boom, he wakes up. Or he's not so unalive anymore. So that might be a hitch in your problem there. It's like, whoa. I knew it was too easy because I'm like, okay, they can unalive Jordan, and she's not as pivotal to the whole thing as Ian is because Ian has connections to Nikki apparently from the past, and of course Mariah because now we find out more stuff about that too. Um, okay, we find out that obviously, okay, I'm gonna go from the obvious and work backwards. Obviously, Sharon had Cassie and Mariah at the same time. They're twins, okay? However, somehow uh, the doctor was taken away from them and somehow sold Mariah to Ian, okay? I don't know all the particulars, but that's what I know. So then Mariah was raised by this man who she assumed was her father and all the rest of it. Okay. Now, the reason I say Ian has more hold is because number one, if you do away with the evil right away, it's just too easy. Number two, he does have another foothold in Genoa City. He could try to worm his way back into Mariah's good graces. Now, I don't think it's going to work, but he could do it. So there's that. So yeah, that was very interesting, and kind of well, I mean, obviously a cliffhanger, but we don't usually see cliffhangers on Thursday. That's why I was like so perplexed by it at first. But then in the back of my mind, because my mind's always working, I'm like, this is too easy. They can't just get rid of them, you know? Yep, we shall see. We shall see what happens. Well, obviously, well, like I said, obviously he's not unalived. That creates a problem with the whole tying it up with a bow, you know. So that's problem number one. Problem number two is what's he gonna do once he finds out he's alive? And what's gonna be his motivation then? Probably vengeance. I mean, if you're gonna go in the evil mindset, you know. Okay, so then what's he gonna do to get his vengeance? So see how there's a lot of doors still open. So as to what he could do, that's my thinking. Like I said, we're gonna have to wait on that one, but yeah, it's getting juicy. It's getting juicy. All right, bye everybody.